This school has created a positive learning environment, and it shows. The 6 teaching team representatives are multitasking teaching masters and probably part-time magicians. It's magical to watch them at work.
Hello, I'm Lisa Kroll, a Mason Elementary kindergarten teacher. The activity I'm going to highlight for you is developing positive character words in a large group lesson integrating both language arts and art. This activity encourages vocabulary development and the use of kind words, which makes each child feel like a valued and loved member of the classroom and school community. Students were asked to think about our friend Casey in the story we read about Casey and the amazing giant green shirt. The focus of the lesson is to develop vocabulary we can use every day to help us feel special and big and loved, just like Casey. The students then helped me make a list of all the positive words they could think of that make us feel big and brave and special and loved. Each student took turns giving a word for our word list. Working cooperatively with our art teacher, Patty Tiemann, I incorporated internet pictures of artist Robert Indiana's famous love sculpture and love stamp in our lesson. The students viewed these photos on our new large projection screens. Students were then asked to choose a positive character word from our list to write on a large paper stamp template designed by Mrs. Tiemann. They then created and decorated their own version of the love stamp using the self-selected positive label.
I'm amazed by that lesson. It's multimedia high-tech team teaching and learning in kindergarten. I feel absolutely ancient. Counselor and program coach Mrs. Zorn focused on active learning. Let's watch.
Hello, I'm Robin Zorn. I'm a school counselor and the program coach for the KC3 Positive Label program. As an educator and helping professional, I wanted this program for our school because it was a fun, easy, and effective way to teach children character education. It was also a way to support our school's academic knowledge and skills by complementing the teacher's everyday lessons. I'd like to thank Ms. DeWeese, our principal, and the Peachtree Ridge Foundation for their commitment and support of this program. The activity highlighted is called Character Catch. It supports our school team's KC3 Positive Label program as well as various language arts skills. I created this lesson so my students could experience what it was like to give and receive compliments in a fun and interactive way. Through this activity, students practice respect for one another by looking for the good in others. As a result, students focused more on the positive characteristics in others instead of the negative. The materials I used for this activity were 2 beach balls with positive labels written on them. I began by asking the students how it feels when someone says something nice to us or does something nice for us. The response is usually, "It feels great." We like it when people give us compliments. I then ask them how the person giving the compliments might feel. Once again, the response is, "It feels wonderful." Sometimes even more so because now they know that they made someone else feel good. I then brought out 2 beach balls with positive labels written all over them. The beach balls were tossed around the room until I said, "Freeze." At that time, each student holding the beach ball looked at the character word closest to their thumb. The student said the positive label word out loud and then said a classmate's name that exhibited that quality and why. The other student holding the beach ball did the same thing. Once both students shared, play continued by tossing the beach balls back and forth until I said, "Freeze" again. At that time, 2 new students looked at the positive labels closest to their thumb and chose a classmate that exhibited that quality and why.
Did the Casey program have a home outreach?
As homework, I challenged them to give 1 compliment to another friend or family member. One of the most positive outcomes I noticed was seeing students smile. Hearing a compliment from a peer can be even more powerful than hearing one from an adult.
We know Positive Labels is both a bullying preemption and a character education program. What is character education and what makes this program unique?
It's treating others the way you want to be treated, which is the golden rule. Teaching children character traits such as respect, responsibility, cooperation, honesty, self-control, courage, compassion, just to name a few, allows them to experience these qualities and internalize them. The KC3 Positive Label program allows teachers to integrate character education right into their everyday lessons. Whether it's the traits of historical figures, characters in literature, or students cooperating together on a science project, everyone benefits.
Hello, I'm Paige Bright, a Mason Elementary teaching team representative for 5th grade.
Ms. Bright, what do you have planned for us?
The activity I'm going to highlight for you is how I incorporate KC3 labels in academic areas. It supports our school team's KC3 Positive Label program in reading and in social studies. I created this strategy for my students to see KC3 qualities in fictional characters that we read about in our reading series, and also to see qualities in real people that we learn about in social studies. We looked at 5 characters from our reading unit and picked one character to list 3 KC3 labels that applied to them. It was interesting to see different labels from some of the same characters. We also looked at the many historical figures from the Great Depression era to World War II. Each group chose one historical figure to look at. Then the students chose 3 KC3 labels that they felt were the best qualities for that person. To wrap up the lesson, I asked the students to think about what labels they would want to leave on their life. For the lesson, each group used whiteboards, reading books, social studies book, labels, and a sheet that they were decorating their character or person on and placed labels around to show the labels they felt they possessed. The lesson begins with us discussing the characters from our reading unit, and we had just completed. Each group chose one character and listed on their whiteboard the 3 KC3 labels they thought their character possessed. Each group then told their character and the one KC3 quality they felt was important. After each group shared, we moved to social studies. Using their social studies book, each group chose a historical figure from the Great Depression to World War II. On their whiteboard, they wrote the name and 3 KC3 labels they felt their person showed in their lifetime. Again, each group shared their person and the KC3 label they felt was most important. I then gave each student a sheet with a generic person on it. They were to choose either a character from our literature book or a historical figure from our social studies book to draw and place the 3 labels on the drawing.
How did the students respond to the lesson?
I think the students enjoyed this activity because they were able to take what we learned about the characters and historical figures and the labels we discuss in KC3 and pull it together. It is helping the students look beyond themselves and see what qualities others have and what they would like to have as well.
You're watching KC3 TV, a public service of the Cameron Institute.